Where do I even begin with this? I leave from home this morning. We talked to them beforehand and we knew they were going to have a Trackmania booth at the Gamescom. So we're like, hey, that's awesome. We'll go to the event. We'll just check it out. So we get there at like 11 o'clock. There's a huge queue to get in. I'm going with Tristan, my good IRL friend. And we're supposed to meet up with Moji and Nixolai. They were also both confirmed going. So it's going to be a huge Trackmania meetup. First time actually meeting both of those people, IRL. At first, it was a bit questionable how we would get in because we didn't have like tickets. But we were able to just go up to them and say, yo, you know, we're here for the Trackmania thing. And they were like, oh, are you those YouTube people? And we were like, yeah, that's us. And then we got in. I felt like a VIP because we could kind of just skip past the queue and go instantly in. And we get to the Trackmania booth, and the way it kind of worked is that you could sit down, play a campaign track, fall 13, and you could qualify for the championship. So you would just play for a couple minutes, try to qualify and get a good time. At first I was like, you know, should I play? Should I actually try to qualify for this? But then I kind of thought against it because there weren't a lot of pros that showed up and it would not be fair. I just ended up watching as I saw Tristan play, Moji played, Nixolai also qualified. He was topping the qualifier leaderboards. And, you know, we walk around the venue. Some people recognized me, and that was really cool. So I got to meet some fans of the channel. Yeah, just hung out until we got to the Trackmania Tournament, which started in the afternoon. And this was on the main stage. They had like a segment on the main stage for about an hour where you could play, try to qualify. All you need to do was have a good time and you were in. All the people were with, like Moji, Tristan, Nixolai, we had Bert, we had Jinx from Moji's channel, Drapper, Björn was there as well, Bear the Man, and they just go up on the main stage and they smurf the qualifiers, instantly get in. Nobody was even close. How many people tried to qualify? I think around 50. But the problem is like, Trackmania is a very skill-based game, and if you go up against someone who has like hundreds of hours, and you have like 10 hours or less, you will not win. You won't. It's sort of the sad reality. If you're a new player, you will not beat experienced players most of the time. And then after they qualify, the guy who's on the stage goes and does like an interview, like, wow, you were really fast there. Have you played a Trackmania before? And Moji's the first person he asks, like, yeah, you know, I've played a bit. You know, I streamed the game a little bit. And he's like, oh, so you're like, you guys are like pros. And she was like, yeah, you know, I played for a couple of months. Then he asked the next person, who I believe was Nixolai. He's like, yeah, you know, I streamed the game as well. And these guys all did times of like 34 seconds, 35 seconds on the track. Then there's some poor 8-year-old sitting next to them. He's like, yeah, you know, I got a 42. Is that enough for the finals? And he's like, no, you're not fast enough. He's like, oh. They just completely smurfed the entire tournament. No one had a chance. And so I was like, well, if we're smurfing, should I go up there? Because the thing is, they had a prize pool of like $500, you know, which is pretty decent. I don't know if you guys have seen my esport earnings. The main prize for this tournament was $300. If you won, it would triple my tournament earnings if I just beat these 8-year-olds and a couple of other Trackmania streamers. During the qualifier interviews and during like the final before they start, Nixolai mentions like when the guy asks him like, yeah, you have a GoPro and everything, because Nixolai was at the tournament with his camera filming this stuff. So this is how it looks like. This is Nixolai smurfing against 8-year-olds, as I said. And so at some point after the qualifier, he asks him, do you have a lot of YouTube followers? He says, I work for Wirtual. He has a lot of followers, but I steal from him every now and then. And at this point, the guy with the microphone starts looking at me in the crowd, like, because the others are like pointing to me like, that's Wirtual. And I'm like, oh, I was kind of trying to just sit here, take a low-key approach. So he points at like, yeah, and we actually have Wirtual in the crowd, ladies and gentlemen. How about you join me up on the stage, he says. And I'm like, I'm not ready for this. But when someone on the stage in front of a crowd asks you like this, you can't really say no. So at that point, I was like, oh, I gotta climb up on the stage and get the microphone and say hi. And we ended up talking for a bit. It was actually really nice. It was not a bad thing. And I was just talking the talk like, yeah, you know, the players here in the qualifier definitely to look out for. This turn, I was just playing along, but it was cool though, being on the stage. I felt important. And then we had the finals of the tournament. Let's see if Nikolai has... Yeah, Nikolai has a perspective here. So here they played cup mode. You can see how they're kind of sat up here. And they played this track, Fall 13. And it ended up being super close for the top prize. Muddy and Tristan were really, really fast consistently. That's the top 2 players on the scoreboard. And it ended up in a situation where they were both finalists. Muddy versus Tristan in the finalist round. And it was close. But in the end, Tristan won. And Mudgy got second. What this means is that Mudgy has actually had a more successful Trackmania esport career than me, as she now has won $150 in tournament earnings, which doubles what I have managed to earn in my 8 years of playing. Tristan told me like, yeah, I tripled your esport earnings. I'm getting completely destroyed here. All because I tried to be humble and not smurf in the 8-year-old tournament. And what do I get for it? I get called up on stage in front of a lot of people. And then I have to talk about it. I have to watch. But it was fun though. And a lot of people came up to me and said hello. This was one fan who posted a picture in my Discord. God, I'm tall. This guy is like 190 pretty much. So I'm like, yeah, I'm around 2 meters tall. You know, the funny thing was like he asked Mudgy to be the camera person. Me and Mudgy were having sort of an internal game. Who gets recognized the most amount of times? And we were pretty even because if someone recognized her, they'd recognize me. Or if someone recognized me, they'd recognize her as well. But this guy asked Mudgy like, hey, can you take a picture of me with Wirtual? It was just like, oh, he doesn't know. I got a freebie. What happened to 187? Oh, that's when I'm sitting. I'm 187 when I sit down. When I stand, I'm like 240. So here you can see I'm bending my knees to get in the frame. But no, it was really awesome. I had a great time at the event. There was one guy who turned around. He was like, yeah, I watch your videos. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why aren't you playing? And I was like, because I'd win. And he was like, are you sure? I'd probably beat you. And he had the most confident smirk on his face. And I was like, oh my. This guy does not know, but if I'd sit down next to him, he'd get smoked. But I didn't have the heart to do it to him. Look what Mudgy just posted. Look who I stumbled upon today. And it's again, me bending my knees to fit in the frame in the Trackmania space. I met Mudgy. That was really cool. This is on the stage at the event. Anyways, the point is, and the bottom line is, great event. I enjoyed my time.